Our guest today on Caribbeana is Mr. Dwyer Astaphan, who is from St. Kitts, a politician. I would call him a social activist. Am I right? Am I right in describing you like that, right?
Well, Dwyer, first of all, that's where you're not right.
Right. Okay.
Dwyer.
Dwyer.
Former politician, humble social activist. Yes.
Right. Okay. All right. Dwyer Astaphan. Man, it's been a long time. You've been in the business for quite a long time. Tell us basically, how do you view the situation in the Caribbean right now, especially St. Kitts and Nevis having just celebrated an independence celebration?
Well, it's a mix of good and bad, like most things.
Yes.
The affairs of human beings. But I don't think we have done enough as a region post-independence to position ourselves strategically to meet the opportunities and challenges that come our way in this very challenging and fast-moving world.
Yes.
Excuse me. I think we have a long way to go. There's so many problems, and people tend to approach these problems in an insular way, and that very often distracts you from achieving the bigger goal, which can only be achieved if we approach the world strategically as a region.
Right.
So being elected to big jobs, big office in small countries tends to be very flattering. But at the end of the day, not enough happens for the people. So the countries, you will remember Dr. Walter Rodney's book, How Europe Underdeveloped Africa.
Yes.
Well, I think somebody needs to write a book entitled How Post-Caribbean Leaders, How Post-Independence Leaders in the Caribbean Underdeveloped the Caribbean.
Right.
The colonial paradigms, and I'm not knocking the history is what it is, but the colonial paradigm of development of economics continues. A lot of the capital comes from outside. Our people are undercapitalized, underdeveloped, underprepared in the hard and soft skills. We are losing our culture, giving way to vulgarity, crudeness, and violence. Politics and life have become transactional and superficial. So the root of a successful and sustainable culture has been severely weakened, whereas civic-mindedness, ambition, collectivity, regionalism, those things were more prominent while the struggle towards independence was taking place.
Yes.
They have receded into the background, and they've made way for personal, instant gratification type situations.
Yes.
So we're not deep enough. So if you need professional this or professional that, you bring in a foreigner.
Right.
If you need to develop, for example, CPL cricket, Caribbean Premier League cricket, this T20 cricket tournament they have in the Caribbean.
Right.
Now, that professional organization, all of the franchises are owned by businessmen in India.
Yes.
India is the biggest cricket market in the world.
Yes.
And you would have thought that it wouldn't take the vision and foresight of Indian businessmen. You would have thought and hoped that Caribbean business people would come together and say, look, we can create this commodity, and let's speak to Indian broadcasters, give them broadcast rights and so forth, and set up a CPL that is owned by Caribbean enterprise.
Yes.
And other areas, the tourism industry, research and development, real estate even. People have, and the leaders have allowed the penetration. And one of their excuses is, well, we don't have the trained personnel in our country. But you're not going to have the trained personnel unless you have a program, disciplined program, to ensure that your people are trained, as I said, in the hard and soft skills.
Right.
And now, in the meantime, while all of that stuff is happening, you have this freedom of movement in CARICOM,
Yes.
which really satisfies, relieves the pressure, if you will, that lies on the backs of the leaders of the bigger countries, which for the most part are failed countries.
Yeah.
So a lot of their people, now that they cannot get into the United States or Canada or the UK so easily,
Right.
they move from those bigger territories to our smaller territories, which do not have the physical and social infrastructure to accept them and for them to assimilate properly. They displace local people. They send out a lot of remittances. In St. Kitts and Nevis, for example,
Yeah.
remittances going outside to other countries are greater than remittances coming in to our country.
Right.
So you have all of that displacement and destabilization that comes with it. And this is a regional problem. These things need to be tightened upon, Vaughn.
Right.
The movement thing is not something that is free move. For example, the biggest criminal in another country can come to St. Kitts at the airport. Mind you, the regulations say that he or she can come for 6 months and can stay once he or she is not going to become a charge of the state.
Yes.
But if you're coming here for 6 months, you're either a multimillionaire or a billionaire, and you don't have to work for 6 months. All of them coming here for work.
Right.
And somebody from their country who lives here meets them outside the departure, the arrival lounge, and takes them off, and in 2 days they have a job, no work permit, nothing. The whole system has broken down. And these countries, sorry, go ahead.
No, you also have that the passport for purchase problem as well.
Well, it's only a problem because we made it a problem. A lot of money flows in that industry, and successive administrations in all of these islands.
Wow.
Mismanaged.
Yeah. Man.
Allowed too many loopholes to exist. Corruption. I mean, you're talking about billions of dollars, Vaughn.
Yeah.
And wherever you find money is like honey. Wherever you find honey, you're going to find something to buzz around it.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And overseas agents make a big set of money. Developers come in here. They sell below the legal minima. Governments do them nothing. Local authorized agents here sell, knowing full well that they're part of transactions that are illegal, and nobody has been punished. And in the meantime, billions of dollars, which should have accrued to the benefit of the country and its people, so that we could build a platform for the next generation, for the next paradigm, the next dispensation. That money is gone to China and all over the place, but not here. So this is the modern version. The citizenship industry is a modern manifestation of piracy, Caribbean piracy, aided and abetted by decision makers.
Man. Now, where do you see this starting? I mean, did it come out of a post-colonial posture being handed to that then leadership, and they just get into this?
I know in St. Kitts it started, somebody high up in the power structure who was an attorney. He's the one who pioneered it, and it is told that he did a lot of business for himself. Okay?
Yeah.
It is only in 1995, after that, when the Labour administration came in, and more specifically, after around 2006, that the platform for the industry was expanded, and it really started to skyrocket and generate a lot of money, to the point that it has been contributing over 60% to our government annual revenue, which is, while it is good to have all that money going in, it is not good in the sense that you're over-reliant on one industry, number one, and number two, not only could the government have been making so much money, but the people,
Yeah.
billions of dollars stolen from us.
Right. Yeah. Man, I mean, it's a real tragedy, one may say, huh?
Self-imposed by our own people who we vote for.
Yeah. How can this be corrected?
Well, the government here, and in fact, the governments of the OECS, which are involved in the industry, have had discussions with the US, with the Canadians, with the British, with the European Union. And they have agreed on steps forward. And I must say, without being self-indulgent, that St. Kitts and Nevis led the way in this effort to tidy up the industry and to try to redeem it and revive it.
Yeah.
So the process is underway. But you know, you have to be very meticulous.
Right.
You have to be very disciplined, and you have to ensure that perpetrators of criminal activity
Right.
are punished accordingly. You have to make sure that is done. So I think that process has now begun. In fact, our Director of Public Prosecutions issued a press release this morning indicating that they'll be considering prosecutions for perpetrators in that industry. Hello?
The role of the institutions with the islands within the international organizations, the OAS, the UN, the World Bank, IDB, do these things help in the development of the countries?
Yes, they do in some ways. They do in some ways. They do. I must say that they do. Nothing is perfect, and these are not perfect organizations, but they do help.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So where do you see the future? Where do you see us heading?
Well, first of all, we need to discipline ourselves. We need to transform our education system and develop a system that is results-oriented, not subjects-oriented. Our children must learn hard and soft skills. We have to be stronger on the STEAM subjects, science, technology, that sort of thing, engineering, mathematics, so forth, arts.
Right.
We have to teach our children soft skills, and there are models that we can follow, the Japanese model and that kind of thing. Too many subjects, too much stress. The economy needs to be designed to empower our people. You have to educate your people so they can take the jobs that the old and the new economy will bring, and they can also take entrepreneurial positions in the new economy. They can't be hewers of wood and carriers of water until God comes back for his world, whenever that is going to be.
Right.
So the education system needs working. The culture of these Caribbean islands has been contaminated by toxic stuff from North America and Jamaica.
Right.
Vulgar, crude, violent, transactional, superficial, self-serving, that kind of mentality cannot help a country. It might help a few, like in the country where you live.
Right.
You have some people getting richer and richer, but more people living paycheck to paycheck. That is not equity, and we can't follow that model. We need to make sure we have proper infrastructure. We need to do research and development. We need to have intelligence-driven industry. It can't be just the sun, sea, and sand, the old-time story. We have to be as self-sufficient as we can be in food production and processing. We have to be environmentally conscious, and we have to hold a position in the global conversation that has people respecting us, not just as individual little nations, but as a region.
Yes.
And we have to review the CARICOM arrangements. There are lots of things we have to do.
Yes. Well, my friend, I want to thank you very much.
You're welcome, man. Sorry for the inconvenience.
No problem, but I will just wish you guys a happy independence.
Thank you, man.
And hope we see each other someday soon.
Anytime, man. You know how to get me. Okay, Bon.
Right. Right. I've been speaking with Mr. Dwyer Astaphan, an attorney and a politician. Yes, yes. This is Ron Martin. Caribbeana continues.